Hi, I'm Bybreen and welcome back to another episode of Soul Stirring Astrology, where I give you my textured take on the world of astrology. Well, over the next 7 to 10 days we have planets on the move, which means that the energy is shifting. So firstly we have the Sun leaving Virgo going into Libra, where it will form a conjunction with Jupiter. We have Mercury turning stationary direct in Virgo, so communication should become lighter. Next week we have Mars moving into Capricorn, the sign that it's exalted in, and then we have Pluto turning direct in Capricorn. And then also this Friday we have Venus leaving Libra, the sign that she rules, and moving into Scorpio. So what does this all mean for you and for me? Well, with the Sun is leaving the mutable Earth sign of Virgo. So where we had this sense of very focused attention, being discerning, critiquing, being discriminatory in terms of our interactions, we're now moving into a very lighter energy, and it's a cardinal energy, which means it's time for action. So with the Sun and Mercury, which has been retrograde in Virgo, there's a sense of being, that we've been navel gazing into our lives, pondering, rethinking plans, thinking of new ways in which we could communicate, do things, looking at our negotiations within our business. So it's been a time of inner reflections. Now that Mercury turns direct and the Sun moves into Libra, it's time for action. So time to act on those plans. The Sun then forms a conjunction with bountiful Jupiter. So here it's about the expansion of horizons, and with the Sun in Libra, it's a time where you could expand your social influence. It's a time where your social networks and your friendships could be expanded. You could be trying to attract people to a cause, an idea that actually you can collaborate with them on in order for you to be leading on it. With the Sun and Jupiter here, it might be a time that you choose to expand your mind, expand your intellect. So you could be studying new subjects because Jupiter is dealing with the higher mind. It rules the 9th house. So it could be you're studying philosophy or religion or spirituality or legal systems or esoteric subjects, like astrology, like numerology, like tarot, anything that's going to expand your understanding of the world. But you need to be mindful, whether it's expanding your mind or expanding your world, that you don't overpromise and underdeliver, because there's the potential with Jupiter involved that you could be taking on everything because you're feeling so confident, but you might not have the resources in order to deliver. So what you should be paying attention to is using what you learned when the Sun was in Virgo, being discerning about the things that you take on that could still expand your life, but you're clear about A, you can deliver, and B, you've got the resources in which to do it. So the Sun and Jupiter are also joining up with Venus. They're not forming a direct aspect, but Venus is in Libra. And so here we have another signature of harmony and graciousness within your relationship. So it's a very conciliatory time for you. However, Venus is forming an opposition to Uranus, and Uranus is in Aries. Now, here you could be receiving compliments out of the blue. Somebody is showing their affections towards you, somebody that you might find quite a surprise that they're interested in you, or it could be an invitation for you to be breaking free from your relationships or disrupting your relationships in some way. It could actually bring about a willful element. However, all of that is tempered if you pay attention to the sextile that's formed between Venus and Mars. So here, Venus is soothing Mars. Mars rules Aries, and Venus is in her own sign of Libra. So Venus and Mars have more priority over the elements and the energy that Uranus wants to bring into your life. So you can appease that aspect of you that wants to be disruptive and be far more gracious in your interactions with others. Venus then moves into Scorpio. And here is where you could be really looking at examining your self-worth Is it time for you to be transforming an aspect of who you are, what it is that you value? Are you placing enough value in terms of who you are and the contributions that you bring to life? Now, if you feel that you've been undervaluing yourself, where you have Venus moving into Scorpio, it's a time for you to regenerate all of that. It could also be a time where your uncontained feelings of maybe bitterness or jealousy can come to the surface. Now, instead of overwhelming you, we're dealing with Venus here, and so here you could be able to bring some level of objectivity, so you're evaluating what those feelings are about, and then you can compartmentalize them so that they no longer overwhelm you. Alongside these aspects, we've got this grand Earth trine that's taking place, and that's formed between the Moon and Pluto and the North Node and Mercury, and they're all in Earth signs. So with the Moon trining Pluto, here it could be about how you cultivate your inner resources in order to create emotional security or financial security or some other form of tangible security that makes you feel whole and complete. Now, in terms of generating income, it could be that you're designing products or services that you've got a really strong emotional attachment to. They are products that you really believe in. Also with the Moon and Pluto, it's a time whereby you can no longer do the superficial communication with anyone who's in your life. What you want to do is to be having deep and meaningful connections with people, so you're able to easily express your emotions. The Moon here is also enabling you to read the zeitgeist, pick up on the energies that you feel around you, and this will enable you to become far more empathetic within your life and within your relationships. Looking at the other aspect of the grand trine, we've got Pluto forming a trine with the North Node as well as Mercury. Now here we're dealing with the articulation of secrets or uncovering conspiracies or things that have been hidden. Mercury and Pluto means that you're able to talk about those taboo subjects, the subjects that people feel really uncomfortable about or want to push to the side. Here you feel as if you're able to act as an investigative journalist within your own life or within life around you. As always, we see astrology played out in the world, and we're seeing this for example, with Hillary Clinton and her health. So there's been lots of speculation, is she in a position whereby she could actually lead America? Is she somebody who's got credibility? What is she hiding about her health? So this sense of unearthing what could be hidden, and I'm not suggesting that she is hiding anything in her life, but the speculation that's been talked about, we might see more coverage of her health condition. And this is mirrored particularly because we've got the Moon trining Pluto, but we've also got Pluto trining Mercury. So it's about emotions, it's about the articulation of things that are buried and things that are hidden. Also, we're seeing another aspect about this truth-telling. It's showing itself because of the North Node. So it's an invitation for all of us to speak our truth, whatever that may mean. Pluto is about regenerating past actions, past feelings, past ways of being. We've got Mercury involved here, so it's the power of communication. But it could also be about restructuring and rethinking your thought processes. What are they based on? It could be an examination of your own psyche. What is it that needs transforming, that liberates you so you're able to flow more freely into the new direction that you're moving in? So with this North Node in between the mix, it's a time for you to really be speaking your truth. So for example, yesterday I watched an episode of Oprah's interview with Glennon Melton. And what she was talking about was she's just launched a new book called Love Warrior, and she is a truth-telling evangelist. She's lived her life around it. She's into exposing the warts and all, but the warts and all that actually is a very empowering position to be in. So as we're looking over this next week to 10 days, And with these particular signatures, we're all being called in some way to what is it that has been hidden that we need to bring to light, that we need to show off, we need to examine, we need to expose, we need to explore in order to liberate us from this position of the sun coming from Virgo, this discrimination, now moving into Libra. So it's a time for action, and it's an action based on values. Which brings me to the quote of the day, and it's by Marcus Cicero. And what he said is this: if we're not ashamed to think it, then we shouldn't be ashamed to say it. And so the question of the day is, how are you being a love warrior in your life? As always, put your comments and questions in the comment box below. You know I always love to connect with you. Feel free to like, share and subscribe this episode with anybody in your network. Feel free to comment, feel free to share, and if you would like a personal reading with me, drop me an email at bybreensamuels@googlemail.com. I'll put that in the comment box below. Have a fantastic time unearthing your own secrets, unearthing your jewels in order to live a far more truthful life. Until then, I'll see you again on the next episode.